The world is in constant motion, and yet, how often do we find ourselves clinging to stillness, to certainty, to a version of life that no longer exists? It's a silent struggle, holding on to what was, grieving the death of a moment that has already passed. The deeper truth, one that Stoic philosophers knew intimately, is this: nothing is permanent. Nothing is owed to us. Change is not an interruption to the flow of life. It is life itself. And so the question becomes not how we resist it, but how we move with it. Imagine waking up one morning to find that the ground beneath you has shifted. The life you built so carefully, so deliberately, begins to crumble in small and subtle ways. A job lost. A friendship frayed. A dream deferred. The mind immediately reaches for blame, for control, for some kind of reversal. But what if instead you paused? What if, in that painful moment, you accepted that this change is not your enemy but your greatest teacher? Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, carried a truth in his heart that most would find unbearable. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. These were not empty words. They were survival tools. They were shields against the chaos of an unpredictable world. They were the mental architecture that allowed him to rule an empire while wrestling with personal loss, betrayal, and constant uncertainty. Change asks something radical of us. It demands that we let go, not just of circumstances but of the identity we have wrapped around them. We are not our careers. We are not our possessions. We are not even the relationships that have shaped us. We are something deeper, something resilient, something that cannot be taken unless we willingly surrender it. When you understand that nothing lasts, not the highs, not the lows, you begin to move differently through the world. Attachments loosen. Expectations soften. You stop waiting for life to deliver what you think you deserve, and you start creating meaning from whatever it hands you. This is not passivity. This is not weakness. It is the ultimate act of power, choosing to rise, to adapt, to transform. And this choice, this internal shift, is not reserved for moments of crisis. It is a daily practice. Every morning you are reborn into a new world. Every breath is a negotiation with impermanence. The Stoics knew that fortune is like a wheel, forever turning. Sometimes it raises you high, sometimes it brings you low. But the wise person does not tie their happiness to the wheel. They anchor it deep within themselves. There is a strange and beautiful freedom in this. When you stop demanding that life conform to your wishes, you start to see it as it truly is: wild, unpredictable, and breathtakingly alive. Each loss becomes a clearing for something new. Each ending is an invitation to evolve. And every challenge becomes a forge where character is tempered into something unbreakable. Acceptance does not mean resignation. It means meeting reality without illusions. It means looking at the truth, however harsh, and saying, I see you. I'm not afraid of you. I will work with you, not against you. And from this partnership with reality, strength is born. A strength that is fluid, adaptable, untouchable by the petty grievances and sudden storms of life. When Seneca wrote that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality, he was pointing to the chains we place on ourselves. It is not just the event that wounds us. It is our resistance to it, our desperate clinging to what is already gone. Freedom, therefore, is found not in perfect circumstances, but in perfect acceptance. In the willingness to say, this too is part of the path. I do not need to understand it fully to trust it. You cannot control the seasons, the shifting tides, or the unexpected twists of fate, but you can control the way you meet them. You can become the type of person who grows through every winter, who finds opportunity in every storm. Not because life is easy. Not because you are naive, but because you have decided that no matter what comes, you will not abandon yourself. This is the beginning of a deeper journey. A journey into the heart of Stoicism. A path where obstacles become stepping stones. Where failures become lessons. Where every change, no matter how painful, is understood not as punishment, but as preparation. Preparation for a life of depth, of resilience, of meaning. And so you face today differently. You loosen your grip. You open your hands. You welcome the unknown not because it is safe but because it is necessary. You step forward with courage, with acceptance, and with the quiet, unwavering belief that whatever comes, you have already been made strong enough to meet it. You are not here to control the river. You are here to learn how to swim with it, to dance with it, to let it carry you toward shores you cannot yet see but were always meant for you. You are not here to fear change. You are here to become it. There comes a point in every life where you must decide. Will you be ruled by circumstance, or will you become the ruler of your own mind? The Stoics chose the latter. They understood that while emotions are inevitable, reactions are optional. They train not to eliminate feeling but to master response. It is a fatal error to believe that Stoicism is about becoming cold or unfeeling. That misunderstanding has cost many the chance to grasp its true power. Stoicism is not about silencing the heart. It's about fortifying the mind to meet the heart's storms with dignity. It's about holding yourself steady as life's waves crash around you, about becoming the lighthouse in your own internal sea. Every challenge, every setback, every painful encounter, they are not barriers to living well. They are the very material through which a strong life is forged. When a blacksmith shapes a sword, he does not complain about the heat or the hammer's blows. He understands that these are not punishments, they are the process itself. Likewise, the Stoic accepts discomfort as part of the process of growth. Epictetus, once a slave, taught that circumstances do not define a man, only his responses do. If he could find freedom within chains, what excuse do we have when faced with the minor injustices of modern life? We waste energy fighting reality, agonizing over what others think, fretting about what we cannot control. In doing so, we chain ourselves far more tightly than any external force could. Life will test you. That is a certainty. It will throw you into situations where your emotions surge like wildfires. Anger, fear, grief, frustration. You are not wrong for feeling them. You are human. But the Stoic knows, emotions are not commands. They are merely signals. To react blindly is to surrender your sovereignty. To respond with thought is to reclaim it. When you view every difficulty as a character test, the world transforms. No longer are you merely enduring hardships. You are sharpening yourself against them. Every time you respond with patience when anger beckons, you grow stronger. Every time you choose compassion over bitterness, you polish the core of your being. Every time you remain calm in chaos, you send a message to yourself and to the universe. I am the master here. This mastery is not loud. It is not boastful. It does not parade itself in front of others. It is quiet, steady, and profound. It's in the deep breath before the argument. It's in the kind word to someone who does not deserve it. It's in the silent refusal to be dragged down into drama. It's in the unwavering gaze toward what matters most, even when everything else demands your attention. Failures, too, are reimagined through this lens. They are not judgments against your worth. They are not dead ends. They are stepping stones. Reminders that mastery is a journey, not a destination. Thomas Edison, in his pursuit of the electric light, faced thousands of so-called failures. Yet when asked about them, he replied that he had not failed, he had simply found thousands of ways that would not work. That mindset is not naive optimism. It is radical resilience. Every failure you encounter is an invitation to refine your method, not abandon your mission. Every rejection is a redirection. Every setback is a hidden preparation. Life is not trying to defeat you, it is trying to prepare you. But only if you are willing to see beyond immediate pain. Only if you are willing to ask not, why is this happening to me, but rather, how is this shaping me? Perspective is everything. When you zoom out, the heartbreak that once shattered you becomes a chapter in a much larger story. The humiliation that once haunted you becomes a single brushstroke in the painting of your becoming. The losses that once defined you become mere stepping stones on the path to a deeper, fuller existence. You are not meant to be imprisoned by your setbacks. You are meant to be set free by them. Life does not unfold according to our plans, and that is its greatest gift. For if it did, we would never become the people we are capable of being. We would cling to comfort and safety, never daring to grow beyond our narrow visions. It is the unexpected, the unwelcome, the uncontrollable that chisels away at our false selves and reveals the diamond underneath. It is easy to nod along to these truths when life is smooth, much harder when the storm descends. But the Stoic trains not for calm seas but for rough waters. The real test is not when things go your way but when they don't. It is in those moments that your philosophy either saves you or shatters. And so, you practice now in small ways every day. You catch yourself before spiraling into blame. You breathe deeply when anxiety grips your chest. You choose curiosity instead of condemnation when failure visits. You begin to trust that the world is not conspiring against you, but preparing you for something greater. In this training, you become something rare in a world obsessed with comfort and instant gratification. You become resilient. You become grounded. You become free. Free to walk into any room without needing validation. Free to face any loss without losing yourself. Free to love deeply without fear of abandonment. Free to live fully without demanding guarantees. This freedom is the Stoic's true reward. Not the absence of pain, but the ability to move through pain with grace. Not the absence of failure, but the ability to turn failure into fuel. Not the absence of fear, but the mastery of courage even in fear's shadow. And so, you walk forward. Not because life promises you easy victories, but because you have decided that no matter the path, no matter the obstacles, you will walk it with your head high and your spirit unbroken. You are not here to avoid challenges. You are here to transcend them. To live well, you must learn to master the present moment. Not because the present is always pleasant, but because it is always real. The mind, untamed, becomes a time traveler. It haunts the past with regret. It terrorizes the future with fear. It creates entire worlds of suffering that do not exist outside the theater of thought. But when you live here, truly here, something shifts. The weight of imagined tragedies lifts. The sting of old wounds softens. The mind stops spinning webs of what-ifs and might-have-beens. You breathe. You see. You simply are. The Stoics understood that the only real suffering is the suffering we allow to ferment in our minds. A difficult event is just that, an event. It is our judgment of it, our story about it, that compounds the pain. And so, they train themselves to meet reality without the extra layers of narrative and fear. You can begin this practice at any moment. Notice when your mind drifts into scenarios that haven't happened. Notice when you replay an old hurt again and again as if repetition could somehow resolve it. Notice when you forecast doom in situations that have not yet arrived. And when you notice, return. Return to the simple fact of this breath, this heartbeat, this step. Right now, in this exact moment, you have survived everything you once feared. You have lived through every heartbreak, every disappointment, every dark night you thought would break you. And you are still here. Not just surviving, but learning, evolving, becoming. The present moment does not demand that you be perfect. It only asks that you be awake. Present awareness is not passivity. It is the most powerful form of engagement. It says, I will not be ruled by ghosts of the past. I will not be paralyzed by mirages of the future. I will stand here now and meet life fully, whatever it brings. In doing so, you liberate yourself from unnecessary suffering. You reclaim energy once wasted on worry and regret. You become clear, composed, ready to act with wisdom rather than react with fear. This clarity fuels resilience. It allows you to respond to setbacks not with despair but with strategic patience. It helps you see opportunities hidden within difficulties. It strengthens your ability to navigate life's inevitable storms without capsizing your spirit. Present awareness leads naturally to another Stoic practice, living by virtues rather than emotions. When you are swept away by fear or anger, you are not living according to reason. You are living according to impulse. And while emotions are natural, they must not be your master. The Stoics taught that living well means choosing to align your actions with higher principles, even when every emotion screams otherwise. Integrity, courage, wisdom, temperance, justice. These are not lofty ideals for moments of ease. They are survival tools for moments of chaos. When betrayal wounds you, you choose integrity over revenge. When fear corners you, you choose courage over withdrawal. When confusion clouds you, you choose wisdom over rashness. When temptation entices you, you choose temperance over indulgence. When injustice enrages you, you choose justice over blind fury. Every situation, no matter how painful, becomes an opportunity to practice virtue. And every act of virtue, no matter how small, strengthens the foundation of your soul. You begin to see that true success is not measured by external wins or accolades. It is measured by the consistency with which you uphold your values, even in adversity. It is easy to be kind when others are kind to you. It is a true triumph of character to be kind when faced with cruelty. It is easy to be patient when everything goes according to plan. It is a true mastery of self to remain patient when your plans collapse. It is easy to be brave when the path is smooth and certain. It is a true act of courage to step forward into the unknown, trembling but determined. This is the quiet nobility the Stoics pursued. Not fame, not fortune, not fleeting pleasures, but the enduring dignity of a life lived in accordance with truth. A life where you do not betray your principles for momentary comfort. A life where you do not sell your integrity for applause. A life where, when you face the final moments, you can meet your own gaze without regret. For in the end, all else will fall away. Titles, possessions, status, they will scatter like dust in the wind. Only your character will remain. Only the invisible architecture of your soul will stand. The Stoics knew this, and so they chose to build their lives not on the shifting sands of circumstance, but on the unshakable bedrock of virtue. In every choice you have this same opportunity, to build your life on what endures, to forge a soul that cannot be corrupted by fear or broken by loss. It is not the easier path, but it is the only one that leads to true freedom. And as you walk it, something extraordinary happens. You stop fearing change. You stop dreading uncertainty. You stop resisting fate. You begin instead to love your fate, to embrace it fully, fiercely, without complaint or resentment. Not because life has been stripped of pain, but because you have been stripped of illusion. You no longer demand that life obey your expectations. You meet life as it is, and you meet yourself as you are. Whole, resilient, free. This is Amor Fati, the love of fate. The final and perhaps greatest secret of the Stoic path. Not just to accept what happens, not just to endure it, but to love it, to look at every twist and turn, every loss and gain, every heartbreak and triumph, and say, this too belongs to me. This too is part of my becoming. And in that moment, you cease being a mere passenger in life. You become its co-creator. You dance with fate rather than fighting it. You build with the stones life hurls at you. You turn even suffering into sacred fuel. And so, step by step, choice by choice, breath by breath, you become what you were always meant to be. A soul forged by fire, yet unburned. A mind clear as a mountain stream. A heart vast enough to hold the whole world. There is a profound transformation that happens when you truly accept the impermanence of all things. Not a reluctant nod to the idea, but a deep, embodied understanding. Nothing lasts, not pain, not joy, not success, not failure. Everything rises and everything falls. Seasons shift, tides turn, and we too are subject to the relentless flow of time. Once you stop resisting this truth, you are no longer tossed about by every change. You become like a deep-rooted tree in a violent storm. Branches may break, leaves may scatter, but your essence holds firm. You recognize that loss is not theft. It is simply the natural unfolding of life. The Stoics called this understanding nature's law. Everything that happens follows an order far greater than our limited view. When something departs from your life, a person, an opportunity, a dream, you mourn, yes, because you are human, but you do not curse fate. You do not rail against the heavens. You bow your head and whisper, thank you for letting me experience it at all. This shift in perspective is not small. It is radical. It transforms how you live, how you love, how you pursue your dreams. You stop clutching at things as if your survival depends on them. You love without clinging. You strive without desperation. You live without fear of endings because you understand, every ending is simply a threshold to a new beginning. This is not passive resignation. It is fierce, fearless participation in life's endless dance of becoming. And it leads you, naturally, to an even deeper realization. You are not here to control life. You are here to collaborate with it. You are not the master architect of every outcome. You are the devoted craftsman of your own soul. Your task is not to bend the universe to your will. Your task is to shape your inner world so skillfully that no matter what the universe brings, you remain whole. This is why Stoicism is a philosophy of action, not avoidance. You are called not just to endure, but to engage. Not just to survive, but to contribute. When setbacks come, and they will, you do not retreat into bitterness. You step forward with even greater clarity. You ask not, why did this happen to me? But, what will I do with this? Every experience becomes material for growth. Every hardship becomes a hammer striking the sword of your spirit, making it stronger. Failures are not tombstones marking your defeat. They are stepping stones on your path. As Thomas Edison once said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. You must adopt the same tenacity. You must understand that every misstep, every rejection, every closed door is refining you. It is chiseling away what is false so that what is true in you can emerge. Growth does not happen in the glow of constant victory. It happens in the dark, uncomfortable spaces where you are forced to confront your limitations and transcend them. This requires perspective. The ability to step back from the narrow, immediate view of your pain and see the vast, intricate tapestry of life unfolding. You realize, this moment is not the whole story. This setback is not the final chapter. This loss is not the end of your becoming. Perspective enlarges your heart. It humbles your pride. It teaches you to see not only your own struggles but the struggles of others with compassion. You begin to understand that suffering is not a punishment, it is a universal teacher. Every person you meet carries invisible battles. Every smile you see hides its share of sorrow. Every life, no matter how outwardly successful, is woven with threads of loss, longing, and resilience. When you know this, you move through the world with greater grace. You judge less. You love more. And you realize that your own story, no matter how broken it feels at times, is not a mistake. It is a masterpiece in progress. present-centered living grounds you in this truth. You no longer rush toward some imagined future where everything will be perfect. You no longer postpone your peace, your joy, your sense of worth until conditions meet your expectations. You realize, life is happening now. Growth is happening now. Beauty is happening now. Even in the mess. Even in the uncertainty. Even in the aching spaces where you are not yet who you want to be. The Stoics taught that happiness is not found by seeking pleasure or avoiding pain. It is found by living virtuously, here and now, regardless of circumstance. Each day is a training ground. Each choice is a carving of character. Each moment is an invitation to become a little wiser, a little braver, a little kinder. And the more you live this way, the less you are shaken by external events. You cultivate an internal stability that no fortune, no fame, no relationship, no loss can take away. You understand that your true power lies not in what happens to you, but in how you meet what happens. This is the freedom Stoicism offers. Not the illusion of controlling everything outside you, but the reality of mastering everything within you. And from that mastery, from that deep inner alignment, something extraordinary arises. Amor fati. The love of your fate. The love of every twist and turn of your story. The love of life not as you wish it were, but exactly as it is. When you love your fate, you cease to be at war with reality. You stop waiting for the right conditions to be at peace. You stop bargaining with life saying, I will be happy when. You're happy now. Not because everything is easy, but because you have trained yourself to see meaning in everything. Even heartbreak teaches tenderness. Even failure teaches humility. Even endings teach new beginnings. You live not in resistance but in reverence. You wake up each day not demanding guarantees, but greeting the unknown with open hands. You know that you will lose. You know that you will hurt. You know that you will stumble. And still you choose to love it all. This is the fierce grace of Amor fati. It does not make you passive. It does not make you weak. It makes you unstoppable. Because a person who loves their fate is a person no circumstance can defeat. A person who meets life with gratitude, not grievance. A person who turns every stone, every storm, every scar into sacred ground. This is the art of living. This is the secret the Stoics guarded not in temples, but in the temple of their own hearts. It is yours now too. Will you claim it? When you truly embrace the philosophy of Amor fati, something remarkable happens within you. The world outside may rage, collapse, or rise beyond recognition, and yet within you a steady flame remains untouched. You are no longer merely surviving the tides of life. You are dancing with them. You are no longer pleading for circumstances to align. You are aligned within yourself, regardless of circumstance. You walk into each moment not as a beggar asking for favors, but as a sovereign being, prepared to meet whatever comes with courage, wisdom, and grace. This internal sovereignty is what the Stoics call true freedom. It is not granted by fortune. It is not seized through conquest. It is cultivated quietly, persistently, day by day, choice by choice. It is the freedom of a soul that says, I will not wait for life to be easy to be at peace. I will not wait for everything to go my way to be grateful. I will live fully here and now, exactly as life presents itself. You see, when you stop resisting life, life itself changes shape. The challenges no longer appear as punishments but as invitations. The delays no longer feel like obstacles but like necessary pauses, shaping you into who you need to become. There is no wasted moment. No wasted pain. No wasted effort. Everything is woven into your becoming. Every tear waters the seeds of your future strength. Every disappointment chisels the architecture of your deeper resilience. You realize you are not broken. You are being refined. You realize you are not unlucky. You are being led. You realize you are not failing. You are unfolding. And with this shift, your entire posture toward life transforms. You move with more serenity. You speak with more intentionality. You love with more generosity. You strive with more detachment. Because you understand that whatever happens next, whether victory or loss, you are already victorious. You have won the greatest battle, the battle over your own mind. In a world obsessed with external achievements, you have mastered the internal game. You have trained your soul to remain upright even when the winds of fortune turn against you. You have chosen virtue over vanity, character over comfort, wisdom over wishful thinking. And so your presence changes the spaces you walk into. Your calm becomes contagious. Your steadiness becomes a lighthouse for others still tossed in their storms. Your quiet courage gives permission for others to find their own. This is the true Stoic influence, not grand speeches or dramatic gestures, but the invisible, undeniable power of a human being who is at peace with life as it is. And yet, this peace does not make you passive. It empowers you to act with even greater clarity and force. Because you are no longer acting from fear, you are acting from love. Not love that demands, but love that accepts. Not love that clings, but love that flows. Not love that conditions, but love that endures. You become a force of nature, gentle but unbreakable, flexible but unshakable. You no longer chase success to prove your worth, you create success as an extension of your worth. You no longer fear failure as a verdict on your value, you see failure as a necessary experiment in your growth. You no longer treat pain as an interruption to life, you treat it as an essential, sacred element of life itself. In the face of change, you no longer shrink, you expand. In the face of uncertainty, you no longer panic, you steady yourself. In the face of endings, you no longer despair, you trust that new beginnings are already quietly on their way. You are not here to control the currents. You are here to become the best possible navigator of the currents. You are not here to command the seasons. You are here to embrace each one with open arms. The wisdom of Stoicism teaches you that suffering is often the result of your resistance to what is. When you drop that resistance, not in resignation but in radical acceptance, you free yourself. You stop trying to rewrite the facts of your life and start writing a new story with them. The raw material of your existence, your joys, your griefs, your triumphs, your wounds, becomes the foundation of a life lived deeply, meaningfully, courageously. This is why the Stoics taught that virtue is the only true good. External outcomes are never fully within your control, but your choices are. Your attitude is. Your effort is. Your character is. When you pour yourself into these things, you can live with no regrets no matter the results. You may not win every battle. You may not get every outcome you hoped for. But you will look back on your life and see not a trail of broken dreams, but a path of earned wisdom, unshakable dignity, and timeless strength. You will not see a life of constant ease. You will see a life of constant becoming. And you will know, you lived, you loved, you grew, you endured, you became. Not despite the hardships but because of them. This is the Stoic way. This is the art of living with open eyes, an open heart, and an unbreakable spirit. This is amor fati. Love your fate, not because it is perfect but because it is yours. Not because it is easy but because it is sacred. Not because it spares you pain, but because it forges you into something greater than you ever thought possible. Stand tall. Breathe deep. Face forward. The universe is not here to crush you. It is here to call you forth. Answer that call, with all that you are. Because life, in all its messy, beautiful, unpredictable glory, is waiting for you. And you are ready. If this spoke to you, subscribe to Stoic Way for more timeless wisdom. Comment below. What has acceptance taught you about yourself? And how are you learning to embrace it more fully today?